RPGs. 3 letters that seemingly are useless and relatively benign, but when strung together, all of a sudden, these 3 letters help to conjure up thoughts of wondrous worlds, fantastical cities and towns and kingdoms, deep characters, incredible combat systems, and just everything that an individual can imagine when it comes to all things fantasy. Now that's a lot for 3 letters, so shout out. While these 3 letters can conjure up such thoughts, it can be extremely difficult to create and execute very well, mind you, an RPG. One needs to be able to consider and execute well the ability for the player to experience freedom, but with enacting consequences. The game should also captivate through superb audio and video. There must be characters and a storyline that, when working in tandem, create this deep and rewarding story that unfolds as the player goes through the motions of the video game. And of course, ultimately, an RPG requires a developer who knows what they're doing. In this case, Larian Studios is a game developer that ticks a ton of those boxes, and time has shown that Larian Studios has been able to execute and produce some of the best RPGs that the gaming industry has seen, and Larian Studios seems to be continuing this tradition with Baldur's Gate 3. The reviews are out, and players love the game, critics as well for that matter. Baldur's Gate 3 has shaped up to be one of the best video game surprises in recent history. I mean, I say it's a surprise. It's been out on early access for a while, and I think people have already understood the gravity of the kind of game that Baldur's Gate 3 is, and it manages to replicate, not exactly to the fullest extent, but to a very respectable extent, to say the least. It manages to replicate the freedom one might have in a tabletop RPG with a dungeon master who's leading their adventurers out into a world. This game, Baldur's Gate 3, manages to do that in a very similar way, and people appreciate that because they're given this level of freedom that's almost unprecedented in games like this. When you consider the fact that I've seen clips around of people playing Baldur's Gate 3, you can turn on switches by hitting it with an arrow. You can climb 40 boxes to get to an area of the game that probably you could have gotten there through more, I guess you could say, traditional routes rather than having to get on top of 40 wooden boxes. I don't know what kind of fucking MacGyver shit is that, but it's there and it exists, and you can have sex with a bear. I mean, come on. A bear? That thing would kill you in an instant, but here you are in the game having a romantic relationship with an animal. You shouldn't do that in real life, but it's like interesting that you can do that anyway. Roll for initiative. Oh, I rolled for sex. Sorry. You know? So it's very cool that Baldur's Gate 3 is pulling up the way that I think many people expected it to pull up, and it's great. I love it. I don't have it yet. Unfortunately, if I did, this video would be about Baldur's Gate 3 and not Divinity Original Sin 2. I have 2 reasons why I haven't yet decided to get Baldur's Gate 3. 1, Starfield. 2, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Those 2 games have completely sucked my wallet dry of any sort of financial blood that it had. And it will, later down the line, those 2 games, they will suck my time dry as well, considering that I'll be probably diving into those games quite heavily and just getting a huge fucking bite out of those juicy games. While I wait for my wallet to finish its cooldown of its ultimate ability, money, I will talk about Divinity Original Sin 2. Probably one of the best, if not, one of the best video game purchases I've made ever. Just because I got it on sale, it was dirt cheap. I got it for somewhere between 300 to 500 Philippine pesos in US currency. That's about 6 to 9 US dollars. So it was a steal. I didn't realize it at the time. I was just trying to find a game to play with a friend, and we found Divinity Original Sin 2 was on sale. We decided to get it. Bang! The next thing we knew, me and my friend, time flew out the window. It was as if the game was bending time and space itself, which was absurd, because that was the most engrossed I've been in a video game in a super long time, save for The Witcher 3, but I bought Divinity Original Sin 2 a few years after The Witcher 3, so in any case, yeah, I had a ton of fun with Divinity Original Sin 2. I'm still having fun with the game. I'm playing through it again, and it's just so much fun. It hooks you in, and it takes you by the neck and the balls, and it says, hey man, stay here a while. Listen, I have a story to tell you. And you want to sit down and listen to the whole fucking thing, because it's fantastic. If you're looking for a video game experience that is closer to Baldur's Gate 3, but you don't yet have the funds for a fresh, new game like that, I would suggest getting Divinity Original Sin 2 when it goes on sale. Honestly, it might not be as deep, but it still provides that tabletop RPG experience that Baldur's Gate 3 has, but obviously to a much lesser degree, but it's still there. If you're looking for a game that manages to do something similar to Baldur's Gate 3 and you want something like that, Divinity Original Sin 2, get it, it's good, it's great, I love it. In any case, I want to show you guys, kind of on, at least on a surface level, what exactly I love about the game. Parts that I thoroughly enjoyed, parts that I still enjoy, like the music. Fucking love the music. The music in this game is fantastic. Shout out the composer. He was cooking big time, man. Holy shit. He was in the kitchen and he was like, you know, that's not what music sounds like, but you get what I mean. He was in the kitchen. He was cooking good shit, by the way. He's like a 5-star Michelin chef. Do Michelin stars go that high? Probably not. Music's great. The atmosphere, the vibes, shout out. They're fantastic. Love them. The character development and the character arcs in game with your companions, fantastic. Character creation, deep as fucking balls. The combat, how could I forget? The combat is probably one of the most satisfying things that you can participate in a video game. Anyway, I'll show it to you, and you'll see what I mean. Here we go. Alright, start things off. I wanted to show you guys what I think really adds to the Divinity Original Sin 2 experience. Things that I find extremely satisfying are things that I think add to the experience, whether or not they're big or small. Shout out the small things, they can surprise you. Start off with this, huh? The starting screen. Wow. I know, you guys must be shaking in your chairs or bed, if that's where you are. But yeah, the starting screen, wow, it's so exciting. No, but I love the starting screen in all honesty. I think it sets the mood perfectly. It sets the tone fantastically in every sense of the word. And then, of course, you can go through some of the different stuff that they have. You have mods that you can install or mods that you can download. They have mods pre-installed. You have Arena, which I honestly have never used. So I can't tell you what the Arena is about. But if I had to assume multiplayer, you also have the option to make your own campaign. You can prepare your own campaign, so you can create a new campaign. It's similar to what someone would do with Dungeons & Dragons when they prepare a campaign for their adventurers and stuff like that. Similar to that, you can also just start the story. You can start a new story, single player, multiplayer, or you can maybe load a previous save file. And it's all really well crafted, so if you click on story and you go to single player, you can choose from all these different difficulties. You have Explorer mode, which is synonymous apparently with a picture of people sailing in a boat. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs? This is a David Goggins painting for sure. He painted this actually, fun fact. You also have classic mode, which is synonymous with dragons. I don't know what they are. Red things with wings. Bars. You also have tactician mode, which is a little bit, I think it's the most difficult mode, which is synonymous with the stars and the Aurora Borealis and some, I don't know, ethereal beings and stuff like that. And you also have just regular old story mode if you don't want to go through the hassle of managing resources and being good at combat, things of that nature, which honestly, good story, so fuck it. I would actually just play the game for the story initially anyway. And it's synonymous with like a sexy tree thing, I don't know. So there's that. It's cool. I love it. I love it all. Another thing that we have here is the character creation. So you can choose from a set of pre-existing characters that kind of help to progress the story. They add to the story. They're there for the story. They're also, you don't have to pick them. So you have the Red Prince, who is this lizard. They have descriptions here as well. You are infamous, a brilliant warrior general, exiled from his empire for cavorting with demons. Cavorting? Cavorting? Fallen from grace, you refuse to give up. The throne will be yours again. And all of these backgrounds will turn into quest lines if you choose to pick them up as a companion, or if you choose to play them yourself. You don't have to do their quest lines, but they're a possibility if you do end up having them as a sort of playable character. And of course, you also have other characters that you can make. You can make a dwarf, you can make an elf, you can make a human, make a lizard, or you can even make undead variations of those races. So undead dwarf, undead elf, etc. You can of course also make them male or female. You also have these build presets that you can choose from. So you have Wayfarer, which is more of like a ranged archer type of person. So you can choose like elemental arrowheads and yeah, so on and so forth. You can also be a witch that has sort of necromancer type of abilities. They also have a scoundrel type of ability. There is a wizard, which is more pyrokinetic and geomancer focused. You can also change the appearance of your human, change the skin color, go through all the different skin colors here. Stuff like that. You can also change the face, the way he looks, make him older, fluffier, I guess, more stern maybe. And again, here's the preset. So if you choose a specific preset, you don't always have to go with that. You can completely make it your own. So you can edit your attributes. I believe you're given, so you're given 3 points to assign to different attributes at the beginning. And then you can also change your abilities if you want. So instead of maybe you want to do a Wayfarer, but you also want the ability to move fast. So ideally, you would do Huntsman and Aerothurge as well. And then you can also choose from civil abilities, which don't really add to combat, but they add to dialogue and everything else outside of combat, essentially. So finding unique items, finding money, this is where you will find most of your mileage. So you can also increase your bartering for better prices at vendors. You can also increase your persuasion in case there is a persuasion check that needs happening when you're talking to a random person. You also have your Lucky Charm, which is finding extra loot wherever it is present. Thievery, better at pickpocketing. You can also pick locks better, and higher level locks for that matter. Things of that nature. So pretty cool stuff. You also have talents that you can choose from. So at the beginning, you can only choose one talent, but as you obviously level up, you can choose from the multitude of talents here. They do a lot of different stuff for the character, whether it's mostly for combat-based stuff, but I think there's some stuff that's more civil-oriented. In any case, so much you can choose from, like Pet Pal. You can talk to animals, very wholesome. If I could talk to my dog, I'd probably say, fuck you, and I'd be like, why? But yeah, so you can choose your origins. You can choose up to 2. So you can be a barbarian and a jester. I don't know how that would have happened, but it would have happened. A mystic and a scholar. This would make more sense. You can be a sojul, and then of course you also have your instruments, which dictates the type of music that's played in your game during combat. There's this one type of fight music that changes instrument based on the instrument you choose here. So there's banzuri, tambura, oud, and cello. So you can choose a bunch of different stuff. The character creation is super fun to play around with, just to figure out what kind of character you want to make. And of course, you can always change your name to something funny or not. So yeah, that's that for character creation. So that's the starting menu. And of course, lest I forget, the music. Oh, the music in the starting menu is absolutely fantastic. It is gorgeous. I'll put up the volume here, and I'll shut up for a quick second. Let's get right into some of the gameplay, shall we, boys? Let's get right into it. So this is a game. I'm in a save, obviously. I am with me and my members. We have the Red Prince, the Lizard. You also have Losa, who is kind of cursed, and there's like a demon inside of her. Shout out my demons. We also have Fane, who is kind of... He's like an eternal
from Marvel. But yeah, a bit like less powerful, I guess. In any case, one of the things that you can do in this game, which is probably, I think, one of the coolest things that I was introduced to in the game for the first time, is environmental effects, like how interactive the environments are depending on what's around you and what spells you cast, things of that nature. So we have an oil barrel here. There's a fire symbol on top of it. So if you break it, which you can break right here, so now this surface is completely oiled up. Right? It's completely oiled up. Now, if we take my boy Fane and ask him to throw some fire knives, now the whole floor and surface is on fire. I cannot understate how cool this was when I first, like, did something like this. I was like, what? I just lit up the fucking floor, dude. Ah, it's on fire and shit. It was really cool. I loved it a lot. I thought it was great. This here, one thing that they do in the game, bit of puzzle solving, right? There are puzzles that you can come across, environmental puzzles to be exact, come across, and then you can just try to solve them as best you can. Or if you have the resources, you can cheese your way through them, which is totally fine. You do whatever you want. This game, it's not like, oh, dude, you didn't go through the puzzle like I did. You're not a gamer, dude. Shut up, dude. Okay. That's weird. That was weird. Let's go back to that save. Sorry about that. Let's load. Let's load into a combat here sequence. We'll load into this. Fuck it. So I'm starting off with Losa because she has the most initiative. She has, I think, the highest initiative of my group, which means because she has the most initiative, she's the most likely to start in a given round. So she is my enchanter, if you will. She sets up the battleground for environmental effects. She also does a majority of the healing and buffing for my party. So, for example, right now, we'll start with Encourage. So this ability will encourage allies around me, increasing their primary attributes. I forget by how much, but by a reasonable amount. So now everybody's encouraged for the next 3 rounds. So that gives us +1 strength, +1 finesse, +1 intelligence, +2 constitution. So it's the same for everybody. Okay? And then another thing I will do is that because I'm not close enough to everybody in my party, I'll go a bit closer and I'll apply Soothing Cold. Now this will regenerate magic armor for each of my party members that are in this kind of highlighted area. You might be thinking, well, oh, their magic armor is full. Why do they need it recovered? Well, it's because when they go in battle, they're gonna need it recovered. And then I will also add an extra layer of magic armor for one of these characters who will act as like the wall, the main aggressors, if you will. So we'll do it on my guy, because why the fuck not? The enemy AI, especially in the harder difficulties, they're fucking smart. It was a surprise to me. In any case, so now it's my turn again. I have another buffing ability here that'll increase my physical armor. Might as well just apply it here. Now that could have been applied to any one of my party members, but I chose to apply it on the Red Prince himself. And then I also have these skills down here, both of which are physical attacks, and there are 2 types of attacks that you can execute in Divinity. You have magical attacks and physical attacks, both of which affect different types of armor, obviously, physical and magical armor respectively. Physical armor is denoted by the silver bar that's above the health bar, and magical armor is denoted by the blue bar above the health bar. So this Necromancer has 23 physical armor and 115 magical armor. So in which case, I would like to focus my guys to do more physical armor, but some of them are more magic oriented, like this guy, so it's whatever. We'll just do our best with the dudes that we have. So we'll start off with this. And then we might as well apply an effect on the floor here. No. Sometimes it's also better to save your AP. My guy, go over here. And apply this. Because everybody here is a piece of shit. And we will go ahead and apply Shackles of Pain to this guy. So what Shackles of Pain will do is that whatever damage I take, this person I shackled will also take. So it's very useful. Very cool, actually. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this. That's okay. It's not that big of a deal, is it? Oh, another thing that you can do here is tactical view, as they call it. So it's more of a bird's eye view. Sometimes you can be you can get a little bit disoriented from this. Like I am right now. A little bit nauseous, but that's fine. And if you need more of a tactical view, you can do that, which is cool. Always nice. And just like that, that's how you win the game, baby! So that's some of the combat. Another one of my favorite parts of this game would probably be the environments and just like the diversity of the environments that are available to the player. So we have this, which is like a swampy kind of bog-ish type of area. Here I just fought some, what's it called? Oh, I guess a Terramancer. So it's, you know, one moment you could be traversing the bog where it's very, you know, you would imagine humid, hot, sticky, icky, you know, all kinds of different words that describe a swamp. You know, you get the greenish hues from the light bouncing around, the leaves and the trees and all that. You know, you have a beach that you go around and it looks nice. I mean, it looks pretty dry, but you can smell the salty air through the screen type of thing. And we also have caverns like this that look cool. And, you know, there's also some stuff that if you go looking around, you can probably find a chest or two like this right here, or maybe a crate filled with something nice. Unfortunately, this cavern is filled with illusions that either freeze you or poison you, so it's not really that fun. But, no, it's fun. I'm just kidding. But anyway, this is kind of like an outpost type of area. Here, I did something that activated these waters to become healing. So now if people need to, especially me and my party, you can go ahead and heal here. And another thing is that there are survivors up here from an ongoing sort of war. There are survivors up here who needed healing. And you had the choice, I had the choice to heal them myself with healing abilities, or I could have also turned on, essentially, that healing pond, and they could have gone there themselves, healed up. So those are kind of two ways you can go about that situation, or you can choose to not heal them at all. So again, more choice, more diversity, more options to choose from. It's great. I think that's it. That's basically all I want to show for this game. I know it wasn't too much, but again, I don't want to get ahead of myself and show too much. I'm also just kind of lazy. So I mean, yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to show for the game. There's a lot more to the game than what I showed. Way more to the game what I showed. What I showed is just like surface level shit. It gets way deeper. There's a bunch of different armors and weapons that you can go discover and find for yourself that make your party and yourself, your player, more powerful. Other characters to interact with, other ways to complete quests that I've already done, quests that you might still yet have to do, and there's just so much to the game. It's fantastic. It's lovely. You should get it if you're looking for, again, if you're looking for an experience close to Baldur's Gate 3, but you don't have that money. Divinity Original Sin 2. Fantastic game. Grab it. That's going to be that for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you guys sticking through the whole video and watching. There's so much content out there on YouTube, and, you know, why me is a question I always ask. Why should anyone watch any of my videos? Doesn't really matter. So, yep. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I stream as well. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.